Hello and welcome to the Gig School podcast, sponsored by the amazing Sorrento Strategic Music. And next up we have the incredible James Sewell.
Hey Ez, thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for being here. Amazing saxophonist extraordinaire.
Some people have said that, not my words.
Oh, well, yeah, appreciate you being here. And yeah, just wanted to chat about, did you always, when you were small, were you like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a saxophonist? How did this happen?
When I was small, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, wow.
And my parents were pretty supportive in that goal. And then when I figured out that music was what I do, they were equally supportive of what was probably an even more ambitious and unrealistic goal. But yeah, no, I've been playing music my whole life. My mum's very musical, so I grew up, singing songs and playing piano on her lap and going to baby music classes. I started playing the saxophone when I was 7, and I'm still playing the exact same instrument that I had through all of high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a lifelong passion, really.
Does the saxophone have a name?
It's called Yasmin, but that's just because of the barcode, the serial number, because it's a Yamaha alto saxophone.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So, your mum's musical, was your mum a professional musician or a hobby musician?
She could have been. My grandma was a professional singer for a little while.
Oh, wow.
And mum has, played in all sorts of ensembles, orchestras, choirs throughout her life, but it was more of a passion and a hobby for her.
So you've come from a musical place.
For sure, yeah.
So it must be in your genetics. And how did you come across a saxophone at 7? How?
Well, I started off playing piano. I was getting lessons from a friend of ours, and
how old were you when that started?
About 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was too early or?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Piano's a great instrument to start on.
Yeah.
Because the responsiveness of, one finger per note.
You get something.
Yeah, and it's a great way to start off reading music as well.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend, if you want to get started with an instrument, no matter what age, piano's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, after that, I was very lucky too, because I grew up in rural New South Wales.
Oh, okay.
So, the arts there, you would assume would not be that much of a focus, but I was really lucky to go to a couple of schools, public schools too, that had amazing music programs, just entirely off the back of really dedicated teachers. So shout out to Mrs. Z, my really lifelong music mentor. Yeah, we do get in touch occasionally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was going into year 2. That was time to start playing in a school ensemble, and I think they had flute or saxophone available, and I'm like, well, saxophone looks like more fun.
Yeah. Even though you can play flute as well.
I can play flute now. Yeah, I did actually start teaching myself. It was over 10 years ago now. That's the good thing about the woodwinds. They've all got a lot of overlap. So, I play 4 different types of saxophone, clarinet, and flute as well.
Yeah, I didn't know you played clarinet.
Yeah. I get a chance to do it now and again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really kind of just dumb luck that, there were 2 woodwind instruments available, and I went with the saxophone, and the rest is history.
I mean, you could have been a harpist if that's all they
had. That would be rad. I would love to learn a string instrument.
Yeah.
I think cello is such a beautiful one.
Yeah, stunning.
There's some amazing cellists in Perth. Maybe.
Yeah. I love that. So do you think the education that you raved about, was it the government system? Was it the teacher specifically? If you had a different teacher, would it have been the same if they had a great, music program, or was it the program, or both?
I think it was a mix of, it's definitely the passion of the people who were there, because teaching, and especially music teaching, is
which is something you do as well.
I do.
Thankless job.
Yeah, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
But the reward comes from being able to help people realize their passion. And that's something I find so beautiful when I'm teaching, is seeing that same joy that I had learning reflected in someone else who's just coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Mrs. Z, it was Mr. Smith, who ran our high school big band.
Yeah.
the fact that they were willing to put in a lot of hours, often unpaid hours, to tutoring and mentoring us. And then the willingness of the school admins and arts departments to
even allow that.
and to promote the programs.
To support it. Because, in rural New South Wales, I mean, you were just, I'm guessing, lucky that you happened to be at a school like that, because there's every chance you could have been at a school that didn't have a big band or didn't have passionate teachers, and who knows, your fate might have been
totally different. Yeah. I mean, it's a surprisingly well-cultured town, Bathurst. There's a lot of artistic things going on there. And a lot of talented people who've come out of there and then spread across Australia and the world, really.
Yeah, it's amazing. So then did you decide saxophone was did you just at 7, like, this is it forever?
Yeah, well, I think there was a limit on how many out-of-school activities my parents could take me to per week.
Yeah.
So they're like, look, you're learning piano, you're learning saxophone, don't pick any other ones up just yet.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it for now. No, I really loved it. I played a lot of
amazing.
classical music early on, and then I found jazz in high school, playing in the big band, and that was like my real passion at that point. Oh, yeah.
Jazz saxophone is just amazing.
Yeah, that was the point where I really knew what I wanted to do for a career.
Yeah. Is that what you studied, jazz?
Yeah, at WAPA. I've got a bachelor's degree in jazz saxophone.
Yeah. Well, I can tell, because when you play with us, we don't know any theory or don't have any form to our songs.
And I'm always like, what key is it in as? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know. Figure it out, James.
My fingers are here.
Use your ears. Use your degree.
Yeah, and the ears. Look, I had a teacher who. I had a lot of teachers whose approach was kind of similar to Whiplash, the movie, with a little less psychological horror. But they would do things
Slightly
like
less.
we'd be sight reading a new piece of music for an 18-piece big band, pop it on the stands. He'd start counting in 1, 2, E flat major, and we'd have to sight transpose this brand new piece of music.
What the heck?
Yeah.
But I bet you're grateful for that training now.
Absolutely. Like, at the time, I really resented it. Yeah. But no, a lot of those kind of trial by fire moments helped give me the skills that I need to not just play jazz, but play in anything. When you're training your ears, when you know your theory, you can easily jump into all sorts of musical situations without specifically preparing for them.
So did you also study teaching? Because you are a teacher as well.
Yeah, well, technically I'm an instrumental tutor. So there's a difference between...
Not a teacher.
No, well, I mean, look,
What's the difference? But go on.
Yeah. So, there are plenty of people who study music education specifically and then go into classroom teaching. Yeah. But I usually just do one-on-one lessons or running ensembles at schools.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a different kind of role to one that needs a full-on education degree. So my experience there is purely from experience.
Yeah, that you know how to do the thing and you're showing other people how to do the thing.
Learning how to teach is its own challenge, though, and I'm
What's
really...
the word for that? Epigogy or something?
Pedagogy,
sorry. I'm not a teacher. Or a learner. And a gig school.
Yeah, good to know. No, but that's the sort of thing that by having great teachers, you sort of learn what works in passing on information.
Yeah, it's great. So are you only doing that through the schools? Do you do private?
I do private lessons as well,
So do you have some private students that like, hey, can you teach me the saxophone? And
yeah, absolutely.
Where do you do that?
I just teach from my home office.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It means I don't have to travel.
Yeah, how good is that?
And I'm set up in a space that has all my tools.
Yeah.
And it's people from young kids who don't have a spot in their school's music program to 50, 60-year-old doctors who are like, I've always wanted to learn.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's great. And I mean, have you noticed, is it ever too late to...
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know that's the right answer.
Yeah.
But is it?
But some of these people...
For some people.
The biggest hurdle is how much time you can devote to it.
Yeah, of course.
It's like training. It's like working out, something which you can tell I probably haven't done in a while.
I couldn't tell.
Oh, well, thank you. That's the right answer. No, it's really how much time you can devote, per week to practicing, to staying, fit in, not just physical, elements of playing, but in your brain and in retaining the info.
Yeah, exactly.
So kids have a lot more, well, sometimes
They've
have a
got
lot
more
more free time than someone who's, a 50-year-old professional.
Yeah.
But if you can spend, consistent, even just 15 minutes most days of a week is
Yeah.
enough to retain the info and keep improving.
And how long, let's say if there's an adult who's like, right, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a day when I'm on the toilet, I'm going to play the saxophone at the same time.
I wouldn't recommend that. There's a lot of porous like plant and animal matter in a saxophone. I would not recommend doing that on the loo.
Okay, not on the loo. How long do you think it would take for them to get like okay at it so they could perform something?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously everyone's standard of, where they want to be is different. But
Yeah.
if you're willing to give it that full-on commitment, of every day, 15 minutes, 6 months to a year, I think you would see a
pretty good.
huge improvement.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's great. It's got a very gentle learning curve, the saxophone.
Yeah. And it's quite a new instrument, isn't it?
Yeah.
Relatively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you look at all the brass and woodwinds, they've been around for basically as long as people have been.
Yeah, and then there's just the saxophone.
Yeah, this one mad Austrian inventor,
Was it
Adolf Sax.
Austrian?
I'm pretty sure he was Austrian,
Oh, yeah.
not German.
Yeah.
Unlike,
I wasn't sure if it was Belgium or...
You may be
yeah.
right there. I don't know as much about the history of the sax as I should, but I do know
Yeah.
that someone clearly didn't want that instrument invented because Adolf Sax nearly died like 20 times in his
Oh my
childhood. Yeah,
gosh.
falling out of windows, falling into lakes.
Wowzers.
And then he made this instrument.
Wow, and then he made a saxophone.
Yep.
Maybe all those knocks on the head gave him like the
Inspiration,
idea. The
yeah.
20th knock on the head when he fell out the window, he's like, saxophone.
Some of his early prototypes are very strange to look at. They're like
Wow.
Hogwarts instruments with like
Yeah.
multiple bells or like
Yeah.
2 mouthpieces
Wow.
and slide
Pretty
trombone
interesting.
bits.
It
Yeah.
makes you wonder, like, is there any instruments left? Is there anything left to be...
There might be something
invented?
yet to be discovered.
Yeah. And you're also a part of Brass Party
I
as
am,
well, which is literally Brass Party. All these, you've got 2 trombones, 2 trumpets, your saxophone, the drummer, the
Yep.
guitarist, and the bass. Is that
Yeah.
all of them?
Yeah, that's everyone,
8
yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, it's an 8-piece.
I remembered that from your message yesterday. Yeah. 8-piece ensemble.
Yeah, so we all met at uni for the most part, and it started off a bit more serious, like, oh, we're going to do some properly, like brass band repertoire, and then it quickly turned into us doing covers of like nostalgic, 90s grunge and pop punk, and then into writing our own original tunes as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So good. And how's it all going?
It's been great. We've
Yeah.
we recently just got back from doing a wedding down south.
Love
so
that.
a couple asked us because they'd seen us at one of our Fringe festival shows.
Oh, yes.
And they wanted something a bit different. They wanted a big party atmosphere for a millennial crowd.
Yeah,
We're happy to
great.
provide.
So how many hours did you play for at the wedding?
Just 2, actually.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit for their entrance. They wanted a news flash, so we did a rendition of Pendulum's cover of the ABC theme
Is
for
that-
the bridal
Is that
entrance.
That
the
would
one.
be sick.
Yeah, it was pretty dang.
What an entrance.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's why I love doing weddings with Brass Party, because when people book us, they've already got a specific
vision.
idea of
Yeah.
what they want. So we know we're going to have a fun time because they're not just asking for
Yeah,
the usual.
exactly.
Yeah.
The usual just track and enter.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But
everyone's got their own tastes.
Yeah,
It's just nice to
exactly.
find clients whose tastes, align with ours.
yeah. And how busy are you with gigs, do you feel?
Well, I always say that like music isn't one job; it's 10 jobs wearing a trench coat.
Yeah,
So-
that's a really good piece of advice there.
Yeah, between like Brass Party, between working for agencies,
Yeah.
doing functions,
Teaching as well.
Oh, yeah, teaching as well. I mean, that's on a break at the moment, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I mean, during November and December, I was doing 7 or 8 gigs a week.
Yeah.
It's calmed down now. Although,
Yeah.
I mean, Fringe Festival's just started, so
Are you involved?
I am, yeah.
with
So
Brass Party?
Yep, Brass Party's doing 2 shows for Fringe. We're doing Brass Down Under, which is Aussie bangers.
Yeah.
And then we're doing Brass Party's Boiler Room Rave, which is also what it sounds like.
Yeah. What dates are you?
That's both on Feb 7th at the Rosemount.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
when this podcast is going
Yeah,
out.
look,
Might have
I'll
gone
try
well
my
past.
best. If I don't, I'll edit that out.
Yeah. We just put in a plug for each upcoming show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so and then I'm doing a couple of shows with Claire Fay, who's an amazing local singer who's now working at the Sydney Opera House and has just come back to
Wow.
visit and play.
Yeah.
And then a couple of my own shows
Yeah.
with Gamer Jazz and Empire Strikes Up the Band, which
Yeah.
recently actually won a Fringe Weekly Award.
Oh, massive congrats.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
super exciting.
Yeah, so self-promo over, but yeah, no, it's a very busy time of year, going from like the Christmas gigs, you know,
yeah.
the weddings, the
Yeah.
end of year parties, straight into Fringe Festival. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, the end of year is absolutely bonkers crazy. It really is. And then you get January's a bit calmer.
Everyone's recovering.
Yeah, and then like you say, if you're doing Fringe starts up. So it's just always busy.
Yeah. It basically, like I have to make a conscious decision to start saying no to things. It's my
Yeah.
instinct, especially all those years that I was like a student or just getting into the industry. I was like, it's a gig, I got to take it.
Yeah, I've
like,
got to do everything.
Yeah, and then when you reach a certain point, you can actually be more discerning and go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't really want to do that, or I want to spend some time with my family. I
Yeah.
want to take a day off this week."
Yeah, you said no to me recently, actually.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, what the hell
That's
is this?
unusual. No. Yeah, it's just really important to prioritize
Yeah.
what you want to prioritize.
it's
And for
'cause
some
you have
people,
a
that's
baby
being.
now.
I do. Well, it's not
Well,
some,
a big baby.
Yeah, a big baby. He's
Yeah.
he's 2 years old in May.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And, it's very inspiring and amazing. It's great for them to see your example that you have literally made a livelihood and a whole life around playing the saxophone, something that you love doing. And what a great way to live, to teach other people how to do it, to play in a band with it, to just do it yourself at your gigs. Because I know sometimes people have booked you with backing tracks before. To just have a saxophone life. It's like Lisa Simpson.
Yeah. Oh man, the number of times I've heard that one.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I love it. I had some great guest sax players on that show, just doing the little riffs and the
bet.
titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do love it. Like you said, it's a passion of mine. It's like one of the most pivotal things that I've built my life around.
Yeah,
and
literally.
I love the flexibility too. Like
Yeah.
you can do everything from jazz to EDM to
Yeah.
big brass band.
Yeah. Oh, well, massive congrats on the life that you have built. I hope you can reflect on that and see that it's actually quite remarkable to do something like that.
Thanks, Ez. Yeah, it feels great.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to learn how to play the saxophone, where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, jamessewellmusic.com.au. That's SEWELL, like Jewel.
Yes, like Jewel with an S and 2 L's.
Does Jewel not have to? Oh, okay, I guess not. Well, we're all learning things today.
I don't know, maybe it does. Oh, well, thank you again. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Ez.